tits and dragons everywhere. And I'm like, no. Like, it's a little more than tits and dragons. You ever see that one, Nick?
Whoa, wait, what?
You didn't know about this?
No, what is this?
Okay, so you got homework tonight.
What is shaking?
Not really my uncle. He's just great.
Here we are on the eve of June, huh?
Hello, everybody, and welcome yet again to another episode of the Retro Rents Retro Gaming Podcast, episode 41. And I am Al.
And I'm Nick.
It is just the gruesome twosome once again. Kyle has some stuff going on. Travis is going to be more of a guest on the show when he can make it on occasion. He's got a few things he's working on right now. And so that'll be that, which is fine. Kyle, we miss you. We can't wait to have you back, sir. And yeah, what's been going on with you, Nicholas? Lots of stuff this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like busy as always. Again, like I'm still hooked on HBO's Chernobyl. I think we got the last episode coming up this coming Monday. But man, it grips me every single time. I kind of wish it was longer, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I understand. Like, yeah, this isn't gonna be like a Game of Thrones. You can't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, there's only so much to this story.
I know, right? Yeah, it's only so much. But playing a little Satisfactory. So it's an early access game on Epic right now, I think. Mm-hmm. Super chill game. Like it's if you've ever played Factorio,
yes,
it's the first person view of like that kind of game. So like Factorio is kind of like top down. Well, this is where you're actually playing the person running around building all these like machines and whatnot, and you have these huge conveyor lines, and it's just a super chill building game.
Huh.
And highly recommend. I think it's still on sale. They're doing their summer sale, so it's down to like $20. So far it's like super worth it. It's just
really
it's kind of a very chill fun. There's a few animals that run around, but honestly, they're no real threat.
Yeah, because Factorio did not look very chill to me.
Yeah, I think there were moments where it was definitely not chill. But so far, it's very, very chill. It works quite well. I'd say like if you like Astroneer, like this is like right up your alley.
I really want to play that.
A lot more bugs, but this is a lot more stable and runs fairly well. I haven't run into too many problems despite being at early access. So,
oh wow,
highly recommend it though.
You're saying Astroneer has a lot more bugs?
Oh yeah. Like the bugs start to manifest late in the later game when you have like a ton of stuff just like lying around.
Okay.
There's no way to like clean it up. Like early on in the game, like you won't really notice it, but yeah, like once you get to like third or fourth planet and you've left stuff behind on each planet, it starts to get weird, especially if you do multiplayer. If you stick to single player, you'll probably be okay. There might be a few like weird things that happen, but
right,
multiplayer almost becomes I say not possible in that like there's like weird lag stuff that happens. You're trying to pick something up and you can't unless you're the host. So it gets really odd and weird in Astroneer.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
No, I was gonna say because you had started talking about that, and I still haven't played it, but I don't know if it was NoClip. Maybe it was NoClip or another documentary channel. I'm pretty sure it was NoClip, but they did a documentary on Astroneer, on the creation of it, and up to its release. And I'll tell you, that's an incredible story. I'm
pretty sure it's like a small
design
team.
Well, it started out that way. I think it was 3 people. 2 or 3 people. I'm just checking it out now. I want to make sure I give this out because it's NoClip. For those who don't know, NoClip is a phenomenal video game documentary channel on YouTube run by the great Danny O'Dwyer, who started out at GameSpot as a reviewer, video reviewer guy, And his documentaries are incredible. Like, he gets such great access. I've mentioned it a few times. He did an absolutely phenomenal documentary on CD Projekt Red. Also on, I think it's Digital Extremes, the guys that did Warframe, the team that did Warframe. So yeah, their documentary on Astroneer was really great. And there's a lot of the stuff to that story I didn't know, like the one developer, passing away. Just as yeah, you gotta watch this, man. It really just gave me
have to do that.
such a really big appreciation for what it took for them to bring that game to 1.0. It was very cool.
Nice.
But yeah. That aside, I still have not watched Chernobyl. I want to badly, but my wife and I are. I mentioned it on the last episode. Like 2 episodes into the final season of Game of Thrones, my wife had really started getting into it. And she's like, I wish I knew who these people were. I'm like, I'm really liking this. And I'm like, so are you finally ready to watch it? She's like, yes. Cause she was kind of like, oh, I hear it's, just tits and dragons everywhere. And I'm like, no, like it's a little more than tits and dragons. There are tits and dragons, but it's a little more than that.
And that's the thing. Like, I think you get past like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then it all of a sudden it disappears. Like they get their tits and there's no dragons, but
there's still some tits. There's still some tits.
They don't go away completely, but they kind of hit you in the face with it.
Oh yeah.
It's and then it's like okay, then it's like
then it tones down to more reasonable levels.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we've been doing a rewatch. We're just now at the beginning of season 4. She's totally hooked. So that's literally been most of my weeknights. We'll watch usually 2 episodes if I have to go into the office, 3 if I don't. Yeah, I'm enjoying watching it again. And I think I said it in the last episode too. If especially after seeing the end season, everyone's like, this felt so rushed, and I didn't think this character would ever make that turn. And it's like, if you watch it again, that writing's on the wall in season 2. Holy shit. Like, it's just there. Yeah. So it's not
I feel it's just like people they're coming to terms that the thing is now ending, and it's like, it may not be the way you thought it would go,
It's that, and let me tell you, folks, I'm approaching my 4th decade. Breaking Bad is a once in a very rare occurrence. Once in a 1,000, as far as, if you really read up on that show. I don't know if you ever saw it, Nick, start to finish. That's another fantastic show. Bryan Cranston is an utter genius in that show.
Right.
But the ending was, universally loved. And I would agree. I think out of any show I ever got really hooked in, that was the first ending I ever stood up from and was like, wow. That was insanely satisfying. They could not have ended that any better. It was absolutely perfect. And it's like, I knew even then, I'm like, you know what? Very few shows are going to do that for me.
Right.
But, so anyway, yeah, I just think people got, thinking that would become the standard. That's hard to hit. Anyway, so we've been watching Game of Thrones. I have been knee-deep in Total War 3 Kingdoms. Holy crap.
How is that?
That is, in my opinion, that is Total War finally hitting the stride it really needed to. I think they got it. They got, doing the Warhammer games was really good for them. Because I think it expanded their realization that, not just variety of unit looks, but, the fact that hero units, if you're going to have a game with hero units, make them a little badass, have a little bit more abilities for the generals and stuff. And so they kind of ran with that for 3 Kingdoms. 3 Kingdoms has 2 different modes. It's got, one is called Records mode, which is basically just a more historical jaunt. Generals are not nearly, beasts or anything. They're not that generals are invulnerable, but I'll explain the difference in a second. It's much more akin to a regular Total War game.
Okay.
I have yet to play that mode because I have been completely hooked on what they call romance mode. Again, this is a Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chinese.
Yeah, Redcliffe.
Redcliffe, yeah. Romance mode is Redcliffe. And your generals are just badasses. And, there's three or four different kinds of generals. The ones that I think are some of the most fun are called champions. And their sole existence is to go on the field and find either the other champion generals or generals that want to take a swing, and they'll duel them.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So it'll say, you can either initiate the duel, or it'll be like, General so-and-so wants to duel you. And you can look at how you stack up against them, and you can duel them. Now, usually there's three situations. One, you're kind of, skill and level-wise and rank-wise evenly matched. And those are a real blast to watch, because you don't know what way they're going to go. Or you outclass the guy, and you'll just wipe the floor with them. Or they outclass you, and what gets really interesting is if you turn that down, your men's morale takes a big hit.
It's like, he's denying this duel. And
right. But if you accept if you accept the duel, you don't have much of a chance of winning. I think you might be able to if the dice really go in your favor, but other than that, your only goal is to survive for a minute and a half, and then you can retreat honorably.
Oh.
So, it's just wild because, you'll see your general, if you accept the duel, just charge on his horse, and all of a sudden the other general comes charging out of wherever the hell they're hiding, and whoever gets knocked off takes the first good chunk of damage, and then they hop down, and it's like watching, John Woo Kung Fu.
Nice.
It's wild, they just have an all-out brawl. And if you have units close to them, all the units will basically, give them space, and you'll see, them just form, an open circle so that the generals can duel, and the units just stand there and watch. And it's it's just so cool. And so obviously, the tactical battles in Total War Three Kingdoms are phenomenal. Probably the best this series has ever seen. It really shines in the campaign mode now. There's this whole diplomacy mechanic. They really finally got that working right. And
how so?
Diplomacy in the previous games has either been, kind of an optional thing or just useless.
Right,
now,
I never really used it.
Now it's really integral. Aside from trade agreements to where you can actually get some good income coming in, you can form friendships with the other generals, and it's actually pretty meaningful because, if someone starts to get a lot of power, and you're always trying to do the same. I mean, the main goal is to unite China under one banner,
right.
And so everybody's kind of fighting amongst themselves to do it, but before you know it, you start forming friendships with some of these guys. It'll start out maybe a trade agreement, or maybe they'll ask you for help against one of the bandit leaders, and their armies. You'll go help them out, and all of a sudden you start developing this bond, and by the time, you can become really close friends to where, if somebody comes and messes with you, even if they're fighting another war, they'll be like, all right, we're on our way, we're sending some troops. And,
so they'll back you up and stuff.
Oh, they'll back you up. You can form coalitions against, other, upstart generals like they did for the Yellow Turban Rebellion, which is one of the first things you deal with.
Ooh.
But, you can, form, you and three other generals can make this massive coalition and then just start wiping the map. But then, as you get closer and everybody starts getting more and more land, all of a sudden some of the other generals start getting a little antsy, and then all of a sudden you got Redcliffe, they start fighting amongst each other. It's just very well done. Sorry, and I like that I've seen situations where I clearly outclass another guy, and I was on his border and I broke off my trade agreements with him and started making preparation for war. And he's like, I see you massing troops on your border. Please allow me to become your vassal.
He's like, please don't kill me.
Yeah, it was like, oh shit, all right, pretty cool. So yeah, it's definitely the best in the series. I think if you're a Total War fan, you really got to check it out. It runs fantastic. It is the least buggy Total War I've ever played at release.
Wow.
And I'm probably 280 turns in. And if you've played Total War before, at that point, everybody's got a bunch of armies moving around the map.
Yeah, so it's a little
it would
weird.
slow. It would, well, not just weird, but it would slow down. Just because each turn for, the PC, the NPCs would take a while. And I haven't noticed that. I mean, it's slowed down a tad from the beginning, in that, in the beginning you click the end turn button, all of a sudden it's your turn again. But it's nowhere near like it has been in the past. They really nailed it, I think, this time around. So, totally worth picking up. The other game I've been playing is on Game Pass. I remember Captain Mike and the Bad Fodder Figures mentioning this one a couple months back, called Void Bastards. You're basically like a convict, and it's a roguelike in space, and your whole goal is to like get a citizen card in the beginning, and that kind of grows from there, and you need to get... What was it? The game is very humorous. It's like you need a line printer and a laminate machine or something like that.
Literally printing it out.
Yeah, and so you had to you go to each, you're going across the map that's very kind of like faster than light looking, and you go like derelict ship to derelict ship, and there's all kinds of different procedurally generated ships. And you get in from the airlock and you just start wandering around. There's security, there's like psychotic tourists, and it's got that Borderlands art style.
Oh, okay, the cell shading.
Cell shaded, beautifully done. In fact, they actually go all in, and the whole format of the story and everything is told like it's in a comic book.
Oh, neat.
And it's really, really great. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's a really fun game that you can just pick up and play for a little while and then, walk away. It's roguelike in that you die once, your character's done, but anything that you've unlocked on your ship stays. Like, you get all these parts and
goes
you can...
back for the next round. Yeah,
nice. And the next guy can have it. So it's very fun. It's on Game Pass, and that's why I picked it up. So I would say it's easily worth, what is it, the $9.99, whatever Game Pass is right now, to pick it up for a month and play it. You probably beat it in that time, but it's a really, really good game.
Nice.
Surprisingly good. And that's it for me on the gaming front. The only other thing I've been watching, and I've really been enjoying it, is HBO's Spielberg documentary. Did you ever see that one, Nick?
Whoa, wait, what?
You didn't know about this?
No, what is this?
Okay, so you got homework tonight.
Yeah, apparently so. A Spielberg documentary? Sign me up already. I don't even need to hear anymore.
And you honestly don't. It's phenomenal. HBO basically does a start to today, the life of Steven Spielberg. They interview him, his family. It goes through how he got into the movie business, how he met John Williams, and it's they interview George Lucas, basically all of the directors that made up that little what did they call it? Was it the Brat Pack or whatever? They had a nickname when they were all in school.
I don't even know that.
Yeah, but it's he's been lifelong friends. They've known each other since they were upstarts in the industry, and they're all in this documentary. Oh, yeah. Martin Scorsese, Brian De Palma, George Lucas.
Yeah, I did know that part. That was actually, mentioned it last week. That was brought up in the Blockbuster podcast,
which I listened to every goddamn episode this week.
Wasn't it so good?
Fucking awesome!
It's like a movie in your brain. It's awesome.
Oh, that was fantastic. The whole thing with John Williams, I never knew about his wife.
Oh, I know. I've never been almost moved to tears like that.
Oh,
it was just
dude.
Right in the field.
Yeah, there's two moments in Blockbuster where I was starting to get a little misty-eyed, and one of which is when George and his wife are sitting in that burger joint. Mm-hmm. And they're like, geez, there's a lot of traffic outside the Chinese theater. It's your movie. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was so well done. Thank you for recommending that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that was great. And that's kind of sent me down a rabbit hole of film drama documentaries, or whatever. I'm listening to another one. I think you'll like this too. I'm going to pull it up because I basically, after I watched that, I enjoyed it so much. I went right into Google and I'm like, podcasts like Blockbuster.
Oh, is there more stuff out there like that?
Yeah, let me get you the name of this one.
Oh, yeah.
The network is called Wondery.
Wondery, okay.
Wondery. And right now I'm listening to Inside Jaws. And they just started a new one, and it's just one guy, so it's not like a full beautifully produced thing like
right.
the other one is, but it's still beautifully produced in that he's got the sound effects, and it sounds very, very similarly done, just not as many voice actors. And he's got let's see, he did Inside Jaws. There's another one, Inside Star Wars, that he he just started it.
Yeah.
Just started
nice.
it.
Okay.
So that one's just like in process now. There's a couple more. There's a couple more on the Inside series, and so far I'm digging that. It's a lot of fun. It's by Mark Ramsey. At least the Inside Jaws one is. I think he's doing a really wonderful job. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. You've sent me down that rabbit hole.
Now I'm falling down with you.
Yeah, I was like, man,
awesome.
I want to hear more stuff like this. That was great.
Oh no, it's like, man, it's only 6 episodes, but man, it's like by the end it was like, come on, do the sequel, do Indiana Jones. Come on,
I know. It's like just keep it going, please. This is so good. So yeah, that was a blast. But yeah, the Spielberg documentary, man, I got
I'll have to check that out. Yeah,
I got like 40 minutes left on it. That's what I'm doing after I'm done here. But it's got all the old footage of him and all those other directors just shooting pool when they were like early 20s, and
oh, nice.
It's wild. It's really wild. It's you get such an appreciation for just what a genius he is. Like,
for sure.
And
like how much they actually went there. Like, I mean, some of it, like, if you're kind of a fan of like behind the scenes stuff like we are, it's like, yeah, you kind of knew, like, the story of Jaws, like, the shark is always malfunctioning. It's like it was in
but you don't realize what a shit show that was until
just the level of it. It's like, and it gives you a really great appreciation not only for them, but just like the craft in general, because I mean, even kind of like on our podcast, even a little bit in the sense of like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. That the viewer don't even know what's going on, and like all you're seeing is that final polished end product, and all the sweat, blood, and tears that have gone into it.
All the stuff in the meantime. Yeah, it's a lot. It gives you an appreciation. Even doing, like you said, doing something like this, doing a podcast, gives you a pretty big appreciation for, like, what goes into making that kind of final product, whether it's an audio drama or a movie. And I used to, when I was younger, a friend of mine who went on to become a director, like, we got into that, when we were still in school and stuff, but we would actually, like, film movies and like we did our own special effects, and but we would shoot for like over a summer. I'd be at his house for a week, and then he'd be at my house for a week, and we'd film and edit, and we didn't have computers to help us at that point. So it was painstaking, but I remember usually by the end of the summer, we had something about an hour long that we were really proud of.
Nice.
But yeah, a lot goes into it, man. And seeing stuff like this and seeing how easy somebody like Spielberg made it look, and then you realize as he talks, like, no, I was pretty much on the verge of like blowing my head off every time.
Right.
It's like, god damn, dude. Yeah, no, it's great. Really good documentary and a really cool look into how Hollywood worked at one point. Very interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been playing. That's what we've been playing, what we've been watching. Big week this week. I didn't realize so much stuff was coming out kind of one after the other. Obviously, I mentioned Void Bastards got released this week. Total War 3 Kingdoms got released not last Thursday, but the Thursday before. So
Yep.
that, whatever day that was now, I don't remember. The 23rd. The 23rd, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Another game, Outer Wilds. It's kind of a space exploration-y through one solar system kind of adventure mystery. The solar system's caught in a time loop, and you can go like planet to planet. There's multiple planets, moons. It looks interesting. That and the one I mentioned, Void Bastards, they're both on Game Pass. So I really think that makes Game Pass a worthy grab for the month just to check those two out. Another game that came out this week, I didn't realize it was coming out so fast because I got into the beta and I didn't think it was anywhere close to done. That is Warhammer Chaos Bane. I was really excited for this at first. It's a Warhammer fantasy game, but action RPG, Diablo style.
Oh.
So, yeah, like, when I got into the beta for that, I was really excited. But, I played it, and I love the Warhammer lore. And this definitely has good heapings of it. But the one thing that, and maybe this is me and maybe it's stupid, but that really took me out of it is there are, 4 or 5 different character types, which is great. But they're like specific named characters. So it's like you're this class, but you're, Horval Headbreaker or whatever, his name might be. And I don't know why that immediately took me out of it quite a bit. But it's like, just call me Berserker and let me name myself.
Right, yeah. I guess that, I mean, yeah, if you're coming from, like, especially the, the Diablo world, and I think most of those types of games, because I'm thinking, like, was it Titan Quest, I think was, like,
yeah,
similar,
Titan Quest, you name yourself.
And, like, yeah, it's like, that is kind of weird. Like, yeah, and, like, almost everyone, like, it's like, oh, yeah, they'll call you, like, not necessarily the class, but, like, it's like, oh, warrior, stranger,
hero, whatever, and that's...
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is kind of weird.
So it kind of, that was one thing that kind of took me out of it. The other thing is it's got an odd hub system where it's just like you're in this, castle, and then you can go from, like, there to the next section, and it looks like entering a room to another dungeon, and then over here is another dungeon, and I don't know, it just, the skills, like everything, it just didn't really snag me. So I was kind of meh on it,
right?
And it seems like a lot of people are too. So I don't know, maybe it's not just me, but yeah, that came out this week. Maybe I'll give it a couple months, see what they do in post-release support. And maybe I'll give it another look. But yeah, Warhammer Chaos Bane, I was like, it's okay. But we'll see what happens with it. The next one I didn't get to play. I didn't even know this was coming. And it's Conan Unconquered. Have you heard of that?
No, this is the first time I've heard of it.
See, again, like, are they promoting these games at all? Well, I guess maybe this one makes sense.
But is it like more like indie releases, or
it seems to me. I mean, graphically it looks nice. It's a Conan RTS.
Okay,
right?
It's a bold move for
Conan
series.
Yeah, and the general opinion, and I've watched a couple streams, and I'd agree with the assessment. There's a lot of potential, but the game just feels very unfinished. Now, I didn't look much closer than that. Again, this just came out. I'm going to watch a few more streams to see whether or not I'm going to pick this up at some point. But I find it odd, you read a couple of reviews and I keep hearing the word unfinished. So I'm trying to...
That's never good.
No, I'm trying to see what that means before I go dropping any money. Because normally Conan is an insta-buy for me. I love the lore.
I don't know, just like RTS... Like, because I'm trying to think, like, there's the Conan MMO, there's the Conan Exiles, all kind of like, third person / first person, however you want to describe it. I'm trying to think of any other Conan game off the top of my head. But
there's really not.
RTS.
There's really not that many Conan games.
Yeah, RTS doesn't strike me as kind of the right genre. Like, I could see another, Diablo-esque like that would make sense.
That would make sense. I mean, as far as, and I've read many of the books and the comics, I mean, there's definitely wars in the Conan mythos, but yeah, I don't know if you're playing as Conan or just a general in Conan's world. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like a weird fit to me.
Me too. It just doesn't seem... The Conan world's all about, like, making yourself rich, drinking yourself beer, and getting yourself more... Yeah, getting yourself more titties. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
Okay.
But, that is pretty much all of the release highlights I had for this week. Did you have any other than that, or...?
No, most everything, it's like Total War was like the only big one on my radar, and I haven't really seen anything else that's necessarily come out. Like you said, we check out like the various platforms. I think you know what? I take that back. One last minute edition. I think I forgot to put in here was Ghost Recon. Was it Ghost Recon?
Oh, it released the
no. Ghost. Let me see. Let me get the title right here.
The survival one.
No. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it hasn't released, but a trailer has come out for it.
Yeah, it's the Wildlands sequel.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it looks super cool. Yeah, it's not released, but it did come out as a trailer, and yeah, it's intrigued me because I love the hell out of Wildlands. Like, it was so fun for me.
Yeah, Wildlands was wicked fun. This one is basically a similar approach, but there's a whole survival aspect to it, from what I understand. You've got to eat. And
okay, nice.
Oh yeah. I don't know if the trailer showed any of that, but I did see kind of a preview reveal, and they went into this like whole aspect of like, you're not just going to be able to charge, across the map. You're going to have to, stay hydrated, and it looked neat. I mean, to me, it immediately brought me back to Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh, that was definitely one of my favorite.
Yeah, the Snake Eater one where it was like back in the jungle with Big Boss. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But we'll see that there. In other news, there is some good, interesting news this week. So we'll just start ticking them off. Kotaku dropped an article that Mr. John Romero, those who don't know, was head of, I don't know if he still is, head of id Software, creator of Doom. He just made a new Doom mod for the original Doom.
The original, wow.
And it's huge. And he released it. It's called Sigil. And it is supposedly awesome and really difficult. From what I did some digging after the Kotaku article, and people are like, holy crap. Like, I'm kind of glad I dug out and started playing Doom again. So, nice. Not even sure how the hell you do that on modern systems, aside from hoping it's on GOG.
Yeah, I was about to say, like where do you pick it up other than
especially like how do you
especially
like how do you do the mods, considering I was doing all that shit in DOS.
Right.
Yeah, it shows you how old we are.
Maybe it's a whole old system lying around, like, who's it? R.R. Martin has like some kind of like, didn't he say he had like something like Compact or something like that?
He runs what is it, Story Writer 4.0 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's like on an old DOS 3.0 PC. Good for you, Georgie.
Yeah.
My lord, no wonder it's taking him so long to write it. There's like a 1 second delay for each character. Good lord. Larian Studios, the developers of Divinity, Original Sin, and all the Divine Divinity games, teased what we're all pretty sure is Baldurs Gate 3 this week.
Oh.
They dropped a picture of, just a Roman numeral 3, and then some, initially everyone's like, oh, right, Divinity Original Sin 3, fantastic. And then someone went into, like, the HTML of the page and started finding all these Baldur's Gate references.
Oh.
And so people were going, holy shit. And They immediately took that down and replaced it with a Kraken arm sticking out of a window. But yeah, so it is pretty likely that we might be getting Baldurs Gate 3 finally, which would be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Om is still one of my favorite games ever made. And to be able to dive back into that world on a nice, modern engine like the one Larian has would be phenomenal. Really,
so
really good.
Is there like anything else to it, like a countdown, or just like this
Nope.
page showed up and
This page showed up, and I would
weapons?
guarantee you it'd be next week at E3. We're going to hear something.
Wait, next week is E3?
Yes, pretty sure.
Man, holy crap!
Yeah, tell me about it,
We're
Bubba.
gonna have to sit down for that one. All right.
I was actually going to ask you about that. I was thinking, depending on when the times are, I want to see if there's a way maybe we can do kind of like a live stream via Twitch. And
No, it's usually during the workday, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right.
This one's gonna be a weird one because didn't Sony back out and Microsoft back out? I think. Right?
No, Microsoft's the only one there.
Microsoft's the only one there. Okay, yeah, because Nintendo, they kind of backed out years ago. They do.
They do their what do they call it?
Nintendo Direct,
Treehouse or something.
Yeah. It's like Nintendo Direct is their other one. Like the Treehouse. Which isn't bad. No. And I think I've mentioned it before. Like I just miss the fact that I like watching E3 for the mess ups. It's like, who's gonna mess up and how cringy is it gonna be?
Oh, I can't.
No, they don't. It's like they don't do that. It's very very sterile. I mean, I'll still watch it because it's like stuff that's obviously coming in the pipe. I want to know. That, but I don't know. Part of that was the fun of watching.
Well, speaking of the fun of watching, do we make a friendly wager right now?
About
I wager you a 27 at Boone's that Todd Howard shows up to booze.
You're on for that one.
No one's heard from him.
I don't think he's going to show up at all.
That's probably the safer bet. We'll lower my chances of losing and just say whether he shows up or not. And the only reason I'm wondering is because they've got to do something, some kind of mea culpa, or just I don't know.
Yeah, something. Yeah, because 76 has been a hot.
I was going to ask you if it's
pile of turd.
Do you still poke your head in there?
Oh, absolutely not. I uninstalled that thing long time ago. Like basically, like when it comes up in the news, like something happened with 76. Like what is it's like those stories with Florida. It's like what is it this time?
Or Anthem. I swear they're like the bastard.
Oh, I know. I think we actually did I put it in here? I guess there was I saw a thing that they released their roadmap with no dates and removed kind of all names of what the next couple they have Act 2 and 3, but they removed the names of or any reference to what the names might be. So it's like
that's unreal. That is unreal. Like I don't think, and again we've been a part of this industry for a very long time. I don't think I've ever seen a pooch screw as bad as those two games.
Yeah. And it's hard to see which one's worse. I almost feel like 76 is worse.
I do too.
In what they did,
mainly because they didn't promote Anthem. Nobody knew what the hell Anthem was going to be until it released. Whereas Todd Howard was up on stage like, this is going to be the most advanced graphical engine you've ever seen.
It's the same engine that's been around for years.
And we can prove it because it's got the same bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's why I'm wondering, is he going to show up for some reason and promote the next best graphical game ever? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the last Bethesda one, they were teasing, I think, was it Starbound? I think it was called Starbound.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But it was just a title card. We don't know anything other than it looks like a space game. But it was just the tease was just a title card.
Yeah.
And that was it. So it's are we going to see more of that? Or I mean, I expect the usual smattering. We'll see stuff for ESO. It's still chugging along.
Oh, ESO's doing great. I don't know how much we're going to see from ESO other than maybe a review, because Elsewhere just dropped this week.
The new expansion just dropped, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is fun. I just got stomped
Nice.
by a dragon. Like literally like 2 hours ago. I was helping all these high-level players. I recreated a new character, and I'm just sitting there with my little fireball spitballs, as like 15 other players that are in like top gear are taking this thing down, but I'm just shooting away at it. And they had it down to a sliver, and apparently I damaged it enough to piss it off, and it literally just finger flicked me into a cliff. And but I got the credit. I got the achievement Dragon Killer at level 2. That was fun. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they'd reveal there. It's definitely not going to be any new content other than just going over what they released. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting E3, like you said. I think we're going to see a lot for PC, obviously. Actually,
I mean, like, obviously with Microsoft still being there, that's still a strong showing for Xbox and PC. Is Sony doing like the Nintendo thing? Is that what they're doing? They're going to like release some video?
Nobody's sure. Nobody really knows. Yeah, they haven't really
I feel
said.
like they got to do something. Now, granted, last year was a bit lackluster. They had like The Last of Us 3.
2.
And
Last of Us 2.
Was it 2? Okay, yeah, you're right, 2. A sequel, whatever. And I think like they did a whole bunch of like, kind of touching on things they had teased before. But it really wasn't that many new things from what I remember. So yeah, it's like, what are they going to bring to the table? And like, obviously the rumors are swirling around a PlayStation 5 out there. It's like, what's happening with that? Like, I'm not expecting that like next year or anything. Like,
there are rumors that both companies might be pushing their new one out next year.
Wow, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one rumor I've heard is that they might be revealing the new Xbox at this E3. But yeah, actually, I'll kind of switch the order here.
Sure.
One big reveal that I know is coming for E3. Phil Spencer had posted that they will be revealing Xbox Game Pass for PC games at E3.
Well, I mean, they kind of already.
Well, no, they have to play anywhere.
Yeah, they have anywhere. Yeah, you're right. Because I guess like I'm thinking of the Sea of Thieves thing, where it's like, but you have to sign up on Xbox, don't you?
Well, that's an Xbox. Yeah, an Xbox Play Anywhere game. However, the rumor is, well, it's not a rumor. He said that this PC Game Pass will have 100 games to start, and I don't know if they confirm this or not, but the rumor is that if you're already paying for Game Pass, that will be part of it.
So it'll do kind of that play anywhere with whatever, the whole platform.
Yeah.
Game Pass.
So you won't have to pay for like a PC Game Pass and an Xbox Game Pass. It'll be the same thing.
All encompassing. I mean, that makes sense because like people were saying, like, yeah, you could go sign into Xbox, pay for the pass, then you could play Sea of Thieves on PC because there was a play anywhere game. And it qualified. So I'm wondering if that was kind of like their quiet prototype for it's like, you know what, this works. Now let's extend it to PC.
Yep. So that's exciting. I can't wait to see what they do. I mean, I've busted Xbox for not having many exclusives in this generation, but I will say if there is a home run for them, it's been Game Pass. That thing is great. I love it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, if I had an Xbox, I probably would sign up for just for the variety of games. Because I mean, the other thing is like, there is no. Well, I don't know if there is no, but there's no. I can't remember the name of it. It was game something. It basically was like the equivalent of like the old Netflix where they'd send you the disc and.
Oh yeah, like GameFly.
GameFly. Like, is that still around?
It is still around. I don't know how it's still alive, but it's still around.
Exactly. But yeah, it's like for the digital. I say the digital era, but like kind of like the era we're in now, where it's like all games are being released digitally. Yeah. It's like Game Pass is like the perfect solution for that. Where it's like, okay, you just pay your nominal fee, your subscription fee for the month,
and play as many as you want.
All these games. Yeah, play as many as you want, and they rotate new stuff in, and obviously new games, will show up sometimes, and there's like this, rotation of the library, and it's like, it's like that's perfect.
It's totally worth it. And where I really think they hit a home run with Game Pass is that if you have the membership, the games themselves, if you want to buy it before it goes out, you get a nice discount. I forget, it might be 10 or 15%.
Really?
Yeah, you get a nice discount as part of your Game Pass subscription if you want to buy it. Again, it's just another, like, it kind of, not in a true sense, but it kind of pays for itself. You find two games that you like per month, and I can guarantee you'll find at least 2 or 3. And they really kicked it up. I'd say in the last 3 months, they are releasing a ton of games on Game Pass. And this is what made me think of it, Nick. I wonder if one of the first 100 Game Pass games, because they already said it would be on Xbox Game Pass, because they, I guess, bought the developer, or they're working with the developer. But Phoenix Point is coming out on Xbox. That's going to be on Xbox Game Pass, and I wonder if it's going to be on PC.
Nice, yeah.
The PC Game Pass, because for those who don't know, that's the game currently being made by Julian Gallup, who is the original developer of the original XCOM. Which,
it's like their next, quote unquote, spiritual successor of like kind of the XCOM style combat.
Yep. So it looks good, and
interesting.
Yeah, so lots of neat stuff coming there. I'll let you take the next couple. I think you added these, so...
Yes, indeed. So,
you can take the Japan one. I did put that one in, but number 3, you could take that as well.
Number 3, all right. Well, let's take weekly retail sales in Japan are the worst they've been in 20 years. Wow. Number 1 is Smash Ultimate still, okay. But very slow. It's a slow month for Japan, I guess.
Yeah, Smash Ultimate only sold 9,000 copies.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at if you look at it from the perspective of like high end, AAA games, for us, like Three Kingdoms is kind of like the last big game. I think for a couple months, like we're kind of going into like this weird lull. Obviously, that's where all these like indie games or smaller games that we're kind of like picking up on. It's like all these neat little guys. But
it's generally my favorite time of year. It's indie summer.
Yeah. You're right, and I wonder if that's playing into it a little bit. Like, there's no real big titles coming out. I think I want to say like the next big thing might be like the Final Fantasy MMO expansion. Was it 15? I think it is.
14. Yeah, that's true.
14. Excuse me. Yeah.
I did put my head in
that. The expansion is like the next big thing, but I mean that's not going to drive shelf sales type of thing.
By the way, that's another phenomenal Danny O'Dwyer no-clip documentary. The death and rebirth of Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, nice!
I'm telling you, go down the no clip hold night.
That's a big thing. Yeah, I'm gonna tap into that because I'm always looking for a good like podcast thing for my drive.
Well, that's a video documentary. No clip.
It's a video. Okay, got it. Okay, well,
yeah, no clip's all movie, man. It's great.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, just check it out on YouTube, man. After you watch Spielberg, you can watch that tonight. You'll be up to like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I know. You're like, what time is it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, all right, go ahead. Yeah, very slow week for them.
So the next thing in the my favorite nerddom, Star Wars. It's been all the buzz. I mean, it's all over YouTube as well. You can see a whole bunch of stuff, and I was kind of been watching it a little bit this weekend. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is the new theme park within Disneyland's Disneyland, California, has opened. It looks super awesome, and I'm kind of divided on it because the little kid in me was like, "Oh my god, you can go inside the Falcon and go right up next to it!" Like, yeah. And then the adult in me is like, "Holy crap, rip wallet!" Well, there's so much like collectible stuff, and he's like, "Man, you could have a field day there."
I was saying to Am, if fortune is good and things go the way I'm hoping they go, it's like, dude, that coming to Hollywood Studios, Florida, we're going for a week, just us. We'll leave the kids here, and then we'll bring the kids back the next week. But the first week we're spending half the week at Star Wars and the other half in Harry Potter World.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah. So it did make me curious. Like it's like, okay, that's obviously out in California. When is Hollywood Studios doing it? And they're opening in end of August. So
yeah, that's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, so like if you're a Star Wars fan, it's a good time to be alive.
No shit. It really is.
So that's that. Nothing super spectacular. It seems like stuff isn't fully operational. It's not fully armed and operational battle station quite yet. At least one in Disneyland, they have the ride, the Smuggler's Run, which is like obviously I think the highlight. It's where you do get to fly like the Millennium Falcon in kind of like a gimbal platform, so it kind of like rocks and rolls and it plays like it looks like a video game. And from what people are saying, like it's very it's quite varied in that like everyone has kind of a different experience.
Really?
I'm trying to remember which ride. Last time I went to Disney World in Florida, I can't remember which
the only one I remember is Star Tours.
Well, yeah, there were Star Tours, but that wasn't interactive. That was always kind of like I think they had one or two like splitting paths, but if you went on it enough times, like you kind of see like that alternate path. I think one went right and one went left, but it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
But no, there was some other recent one, and I honestly can't remember. It obviously made that much of an impression. But it was a lot of like hit the button, turn this right or left, and if you did, then certain things would happen. Well, they're taking it to like the next level with this, and apparently like people are starting like, oh yeah, our pilot was terrible and we crashed, or he's like, oh yeah, we got like all this, we stole all the cargo and we got all this other stuff. So it seems like they kind of pick up the whole interactivity. And so it's not a ride that you ride it once and it's going to be the same way again. Like it'll have similar elements, but it could be very different from when you do it.
Oh wow.
So that definitely obviously grabbed my attention. Like if I ever go there, or the Florida version, I'm sure it will be the same thing. It's like definitely want to be sitting myself down in the Millennium Falcon.
Hell yeah.
But I guess there are like one or two other rides that aren't even open yet, so it's like it's kind of I guess maybe you call it a soft opening. I mean, it is officially open, but it sounds like things are still coming online for at least Disneyland.
They did the same thing with Harry Potter World or World of Harry Potter.
Or like wasn't like everything all at once?
It was only like half done at that point when they opened.
Okay, so it was maybe that's pretty typical then.
Yeah, I think it was the whole Hogsmeade thing wasn't ready yet when they first opened, and like the Hogwarts Express kind of deal. I don't remember what it was, but it was like there was a good portion of it that wasn't done yet. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm just the fact that the two of those will be there. Man, God, I hope certain things go the way I want them to. I'll be going every damn year.
You're that.
Oh man.
So on to the next thing. So I'm sorry to say we're all sick in the head.
We are. We're sick, Nicholas. We have to recognize our illness.
We have to recognize the illness that is plaguing us, because the World Health Organization has finally decided to add gaming disorder as a list of recognized illnesses.
Did you?
Yep.
Did they really?
Now, I shouldn't fully laugh, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's kind of a big question mark, because, I mean, the way they describe it is basically any form of addiction, and obviously, if you are a person who's working through an addiction of any sort, whether it be video games or anything else, obviously seek help.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Do that, and not to belittle anyone like that, but
no way.
But I find it odd. It's like why video games? Like,
why
not
did
just
video
label as addiction? Period.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And that was my take on this. It's like an addictive personality, and I know I've got plenty of them in my own family, is going to find that rush in pretty much anything, and there's no set thing. I mean, obviously substances are big potentiators, for an addict, drugs, alcohol, but it could be anything where you get that rush. There are people that have like shopping disorders. They have a rush just from finding a sale. Yeah,
exactly. Kind of like that Black Friday frenzy, and
right. But it's
things
it's
like
all
that. And,
I don't know. It's all addiction.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I raised the question mark. It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, identify what what an addiction can key off of. Obviously, there's probably like I'd say the major players, and you could always look at drugs, alcoholism. Yeah, sure, video games could absolutely be in there. I witnessed that at college. I had a floor mate who literally flushed his career. I say career, but his future kind of down the toilet because he did nothing but play video games, and it interfered with his life and just functioning as a normal human being type of thing. And but it's like you said, it's like that could be anything, and so it's like why go after one thing in particular? Why not just say like, okay, there's addiction, and these could be the larger contributing factors.
Yeah, these could be potentiators, and it's literally anything that gives somebody that rush. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I read this article and I'm just like, come on. Like I feel like when you do something like that, then you can start legislating against it.
Yeah, and we brought it up before, I think, and they're cracking down on loot boxes, and like, yes, it's like I think there should be definitely like safeguards against like predatory practices that the industry definitely partakes in. It's like, like kids need to, it's like kids can be very impressionable. It's like, and if you teach them, it's like oh, just like get the loot box and start gambling, and it leads to other things. Like I can see that. I can see the argument for it. It's like, yes, crack down on loot boxes. They're ridiculous to begin with. But I don't know. It's just a big question mark. And
see, to me, and for those who know me, people who understand, I definitely lean on the left side of the fence. But this is definitely one of those situations where I understand the argument of the market, quote unquote, because I look at what happened with Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
There was such a huge backlash about that because it was so obnoxious that it hurt the game. And they were forced to back down and modify it so that, you didn't have to take 20 years to play Darth Vader.
Right.
So, to me, I get very anxious when the government wants to legislate certain things, especially when it comes to gaming, because there's literally, as far as I know, only one person right now running for Congress that understands gaming, and that's Brianna Wu. Like, I follow her on Twitter. I think she's in Congress now. I think she's a representative. But, like, she just kind of like in 2018. But she's a straight-up gamer. Like, she had posted a screenshot the other day. She was, like, completely giddy because, they're making their rounds to call their, the donors and stuff. And she's like, oh, my God, I am actually about to call Lord British. Oh, my God. And it was like, yeah, you get it, But it's like, other than that, these are people that have never played a game. I could almost guarantee it. Have no idea about the culture. They just see something to latch on and get people pissed off about.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't buy it. I don't buy the motivation behind it. And, if EA had turned around and said, screw you, pay these anyway, and people wound up paying it, then I'd say, you know what, maybe we do have to do something. But the simple fact is, like, Battlefront 2 became a permanent pariah because of the loot boxes. I don't think that game did nearly what they wanted it to do as far as sales and continued gameplay. I mean, do you still play it? You're the most hardcore Star Wars person I know.
I never picked it up.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, wow. I never picked up Battlefront 2. Like I had Battlefront 1, and I think that was the one that burned me because there's like no single player. It had like little like scenarios or whatever, but it was like kind of mad. You had multiplayer, which was fun, but it was definitely like underrepresented. And then I think what was it, a year or two that before Battlefront 2 came out. And when Battlefront 2 was like, oh, we got single player, it's like, you know what? No, you burned me once. I had enough. So it's like I watched like the streams of the single player campaign. fantastic story. I loved it. I love watching it, but it's like, no, you're not going to get me a second time on this one. It's like,
fool me once.
Well, yeah, he's like, fool me once. Yeah. And it's like, I was perfectly content watching from the sidelines on this one. And like, I still to this day have not picked it up. It's like, no, it's like you burned me too much on this one.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I'm not one to like, I'm not going to write off EA completely. It's like, obviously I want to say 1313, but not that. That's not it.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. The one that's coming out in the fall.
The one revealed at Star Wars Celebration. Basically the
Fallen
Jedi.
Fallen Jedi.
Yeah.
Fallen Order.
That one looks absolutely awesome. It's like, okay, I'm on board for that. Because again, the story is there, and that's what they're centering around. It's like multiplayer. It's like, I don't know, like it has to really grab me to get me on board for multiplayer these days.
Yeah,
my reflexes are not what they used to be.
Dude, doesn't that suck?
FPSs.
Doesn't that suck?
It does suck. I'm getting old, man. We're getting old.
Fucking sucks. I was playing the other day. Like you know what it is? At first I thought, wow, I really am getting old. But then it dawned on me. I'm like, I don't really play these kind of fast reflex games anymore. So for me, it's like, yes, part of it's getting old, but part of it is I'm so out of practice. So I forget. I forget what game I've been playing a lot of multiplayer wise now. I was playing what the fuck is it called? Not Battlefield. One of the shooters. And I like after playing for an hour or so, I started getting my groove back a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not that I was ever amazing, but it's one of those, like, I think you have the same issue, man. Is we haven't played competitive anything in so long. It's like, oh yeah, I got to be a little bit better on the draw.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are also getting old.
Yeah, it's like you're getting old. It's like I don't want to deal with like 15-year-olds. Like, yeah, man, you suck.
You
like,
suck,
okay,
noob.
Yeah.
Your mom could do better.
I will happily play, story FPS. Like, give me more Metro. Give me the Jedi Fallen Order whenever it comes out, and Red Dead Redemption. Granted, I think that's like third person, but I mean, you get the idea. It's like, yeah, give me those. Give me a fun time.
Your sister's better than you. She slept here last night. Little bastards.
Get out of here.
All right, next item on the list. What do we got?
So back to more entertaining things. Dark Crystal series
on
Netflix trailer.
God.
What?
Yes.
Again, this is from Jim Henson Studios, and it looks fantastic. Some of it, looks exactly like the original Dark Crystal.
Absolutely.
And other parts was like, okay, I can see they're kind of, it looks like something like CGI-ish, but it's not overdone.
Oh, no, it looks perfect. It's perfect.
And I'm so psyched for this. Like, I'll have to re-up my my Netflix for this thing because it looks fantastic. I can't wait for it.
Oh, man. That and they do a Labyrinth series, and I'm going to be worried it's like the last year on Earth.
GG. Now the question is, well, like, what are they going to do about David Bowie?
Honestly, you really can't. You can't do Labyrinth anymore.
Exactly.
You need Mr. Bowie for that.
If they did, though, like, are we talking like a recast type thing, or do the Uncanny Valley? And
I don't know. Maybe they. Nah, that didn't really work out too good with what was it? Tarkin? Not Tarkin. Was it not Tarkin? Yeah, Tarkin in Rogue One.
Yeah.
It looked okay.
Peter Cushing. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked all right.
But I mean, you notice like the way that, like, if you watch those scenes, like, it's pretty dark. I say dark in the sense of like light,
Yes,
like,
yeah. It really tries to keep you from getting a close look.
They keep them in the shadows. Yeah, they keep them in the shadows for good reason, because like, it's kind of like it's almost there but not quite, and it's like the longer you stare at it, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to have Marilyn Manson playing David Bowie's character, I'd probably watch it. I think that'd be interesting. But no, but it is one of those. I really wonder if the Dark Crystal knocks it out of the park. Is that a series they might revisit as well? Because those were kind of hand in hand when we were growing up. You know?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping maybe we'll see some kind of like, Jim Henson's studio revival.
Oh,
'Cause,
yeah.
we've had kind of like, the off Muppet movie or whatever that's come out, but I don't feel like they've been like really big hits or anything. But
Yeah, this is like the first deep dive into the Henson mythos.
Yeah, and again, it's on Netflix, so they don't, I say they don't have to go all out in terms of like, movie production. I say movie production, you know what I mean? Like,
Dude, Christ,
like
Netflix is making better stuff than movies. I see half the time.
Exactly. It's like, and Netflix seems to be the better platform for something like that, and so maybe we'll see kind of a revival of kind of like that stuff. I mean, what was it like Fraggle Rock? Not necessarily looking for like Fraggle Rock 2, but could we see something like that? I'm trying to think of other stuff.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. Anyway, I mean, God, that trailer just had me so freaking excited.
It looks great. If you guys haven't seen it, like, check it out, especially if you're a fan of Dark Crystal. And if you don't know what Dark Crystal is, go watch that too.
Oh yeah, go watch that like, immediately.
Classic Jim Henson.
Yeah,
like very Thai fantasy. From the Jim Henson studio, and it's like, if the Muppet thing, kind of weirds you out, like you'll get over it. You'll get.
You'll get over it fast. It's so well done in Dark Crystal as well. Anyway, I mean, my friend Brian, he had posted it. He tagged me in it. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be great. Yeah. So obviously, I mean, there's so much on the plate this week. A lot of exciting stuff is happening, and yeah, cannot wait to see where it goes, man. That's going to be great to see. Let's see here. I think that'll be it for news. Actually, we do have a nice little announcement here. I know Kyle hasn't been back for it, but I did want to keep our Save Point Game of the Month thing alive, so I chose our Save Point Game of the Month this month. We're going to be doing Defender of the Crown by Cinemaware. Classic gaming company I've mentioned on here a few times, specifically the Nintendo Entertainment System port. Again, this is a classic kind of a strategy game, kind of an action game. There's some story. It's very, very cool. There's like a strategy element of taking over England. Then there's like holding tournaments for landed money, so you can do the joust. In the computer versions, that was all you could do, but in the Nintendo version, after you knock them off the horse, you can actually go at them with maces. And,
nice.
Yeah, the Nintendo actually, oddly enough, it's like the most complete port of the version they were trying to make. Even though it's not the best looking, like the Amiga might be the best looking one, but like in the catapult scenes, you only have like one choice of what you're launching, whereas in the Nintendo one, it's like you can launch a boulder, you can launch Greek fire, you can launch disease. Like it's pretty wild. So I picked that for our game of the month. So for anybody that has it or can procure it, I'm going to start playing that over the next few days. Might do a few streams on YouTube and link them in the save point. But I'd love to hear any save pointers' thoughts. And if you don't know what the save point is, we'll tell you at the end of the cast. Come join us and, join the book club for games. And we'll have some fun.
Nice.
But that is it for the save point game of the month. And now we move on to the question of the bye week and our voicemails. The question of the bye week, I wanted to do something a little bit different, maybe a little bit more interactive. And make everybody make a choice. I like doing that. So the question of the bye week is, of the 3 following action platformers, which one is your favorite? And I did not allow write-ins. The choices were...
Only what's in the ballot.
Yeah. The choices were Contra, Mega Man, or Abe's Odyssey. Now, I understand Abe's Odyssey may not be an action platformer, but it's still a damn good platformer, so I wanted to throw that in there, maybe mix it up a little bit. But yeah, so Contra, Mega Man, Abe's Odyssey. I think what we'll do, we'll go to the save point first, and then we'll do the voicemails, and then we'll give our own opinions. So, do you have the save point up, Nick?
Bringing it up here. Come on.
Alright, I will do Troy's comment, and then you can take the next one. once you get it up there. Okay. So, Troy Games, his vote was for Contra, mostly for nostalgic reasons. It is 2 players, so my brother and I got to play a lot when we were kids. I think it may have been the first 2-player game we had where we played at the same time, no waiting your turn. All the Mega Man's games were solid games, though Mega Man is just as good. To which I had said, I was pretty sure it was probably the first simultaneous 2-player game for an action platformer that I can remember where you could actually play cooperatively at the same time. Kyle 100% agreed. And in fact, he said this times, is that 10 billion? I think that's what yeah. Either way, Kyle wholeheartedly agreed. And Troy added a comment that I thought was kind of brilliant. But he said, yeah, it was the first time experiencing the feeling of hoping my brother would succeed instead of hoping he would fall down a hole so I could play. Oh, genius. All right, you want to take the next one?
So, sorry. So who am I rooting for?
Aaron.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Mega Man, hands down. Complexity of the OG Mega Man, along with no battery or save codes, iconic bosses. You felt like you accomplished something when you beat it. I gotta agree with them on this one. Yeah, just, like, I mean, let's be real. All Capcom games were balls hard.
Oh yeah,
unbelievably hard. Like, you play a Capcom game, you know you're in for a ride. That and seeing Mega Man being beaten live with a band playing the soundtrack to it at PAX East.
Holy crap!
Was completely awesome. So I got to go on the Mega Man side.
Oh, Nick lands on Mega Man. That's funny. Actually, I know we were kind of saving this, but I will agree with you. Out of the 3, Mega Man was my favorite. And I wasn't that great at it, but I did manage to beat the first Mega Man when I was
nice.
When I was like 5 years old. I rented it at a video store when we were living in Jersey, and I had my dad keep rerunning it for almost a week and a half. And it was like all I played. I don't know why, but I became obsessed with that game until I beat it. And yeah, that's just such a classic. The whole, concept of beating the bosses and gaining their powers that you could then use against another boss, as their weakness if you really played your cards right and understood the game. It's just very well done for how early that game was in the Nintendo life cycle. I still think that's one of the best. And both Aaron and the following up post, Ryan, are old friends of mine from Net Access, where I used to work. Ryan said, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start for the win. And Aaron said, what code is that? And no, it's not the Konami code. I guess he got it wrong. I forget where he went wrong there. I think it's AB. Or no, he had... he might have had A. I don't remember it now, but either way, yeah, that was just funny, Aaron. I thought you had a good one there.
Up, down, down, left, right, BA, start.
Oh, Ryan edited it. That's what it was, because he had AB start, and I was like, I don't think that's right. Okay, I think that is it. My friend Taylor did send us one on Twitter, and he said Castlevania because it's not on that list. And I specifically didn't put it on that list because I knew it would beat all 3 of them. That's the only right answer, at least in my opinion. But yeah, so we gave our answers there as well. I think Nick and I are both very much so on the Mega Man train. But we do have a voicemail, so let us go check out the voicemail this week. We have one, and I wonder who would be answering this question. It's our favorite, Uncle Fred.
What is shaking?
Not really my uncle. He's just great.
Here we are on the eve of June, huh? Kicking May in the butt, pushing it out the door, saying so long, see ya, and we don't need your rainy, crazy temperatures, and we're welcoming in June. We don't know what June's going to bring, but hopefully nice, sunny summer weather that we can enjoy. Yeah. All right. So anyway, What do you think, huh? 2 shows in a row. I'm back on track. I'm like a train trucking down the track.
Hell yeah.
I'm on fire! Anyway.
Everybody on the hype train!
Yeah, well, anyway, So anyway, I said that right. All right. The question, that was a great question. I don't know who came up with that question. Let me just say that is a great question, because that's tough. That's tough. Mega Man was a good game. I enjoyed Mega Man. I don't think I ever finished a Mega Man. I think I only ever got so far, and I just kind of like couldn't figure out what to do, or it wasn't good enough, and I put it down. But I did enjoy it. I played, I get halfway through, 3/4 through. It was a good game. Contra, well, me and Contra that's where they came up with that definition of, insanity, where you do the same thing over and over and get the same results. That was me at Contra. I played the game over and over and over, and I don't think I ever, to this day, got past that one part I've gotten to, which is probably about 7 minutes into the game, if even that. Yet I enjoyed the living daylights out of it. I don't know. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I got killed. Back to the beginning. Here we go. Yep. Oh, we got killed there again. Yep. Back to the beginning. And it would just sit over and over. But I'll tell you what, I loved the game. Just loved it. But I think my favorite might be Old Abe. I mean, when that came out, I thought that was really cool. I thought, at the time, it was really different. I enjoyed it. I thought it was done pretty well. Like I said, I enjoyed playing it. It was different. It was new. It was fresh, but yet, it wasn't so new that it wasn't new. But I mean, not new to do, boob, do, but do. Anyway, you know what I mean. It looked like elements of other games and put it in there with a fresh coat of paint. Let's put it that way. So I think I really enjoyed Abe. I don't know. I never got into the next one. Well, was there 2 or was there 3? Yeah, I'm not even sure. I know there was a 2, but I don't know if there was a 3. I never really got one. I mean, I played the first one, enjoyed that, but that's about as far as it goes. I'm rambling now. I can tell I'm rambling. Well, every time I call, I'm rambling anyway.
We love you, Fred.
Hey, Fred, Rambler. That's all I got, though, guys. It's Friday night. I didn't get paid, but it's still Friday night. So, anyway, have a great one, guys. Have a great one, and arrivederci.
Reba turkey, Fred. I'm glad somebody voted for Abe, because I always thought that game was such a unique kind of platformer. It actually reminded me a lot of Flashback, in that, you had there was more to it than just shooting things. This, you had to be strategic. You had to get your little guys out without them getting hurt. It was just different. And like Fred said, I think it was a fresh coat of paint on a genre that, was kind of going in certain directions at that point, and that one kind of threw a wrench in the system, and that's why I put it up there. It wasn't necessarily my favorite, but I always had mad respect for what that game did at the time. But that is it on voicemails on the question of the bye week, and we all got our answers in. I thank everybody that calls in. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, everybody that reached out on Facebook, on the Save Point. Thank you, people on Twitter. Always appreciated. We love when you interact. But that will bring us to the end of the show, to the end of episode 41. Time for, conclusions and shout-outs. Nick, you got anything you want to shout out or promote this week?
No, nothing this week.
Nothing this week. All right, well, I will do the shout-outs. Big shout-out to the fans, as always. Thank you again, everybody listening. All I ask is, if you are enjoying and having fun, please share the link to the cast, to the episode, and more importantly, if you're listening on iTunes or one of those outlets that allows a review, we would really appreciate a review. That's always appreciated. And I've decided, if you leave us a 4 or 5-star review, I will actually be happily read it here on the show, and just as a show of appreciation for your appreciation of the show. Say that there 5 times fast. So yeah, we would definitely
appreciate you.
Yeah, so we definitely would appreciate the reviews. That always helps us out. Shout out to my boys over at the Everyday Gamers, Eric and Jason. I'm so happy to see you guys are starting to crank out shows again, on a semi-normal basis that you're able to do. Looking forward to hearing when the other guys are able to come back, but right now you guys are really killing it. So just glad to have the Everyday Gamers back in the swing of things. Very much enjoying the show. Shout out to Bad Fodder Figures, my boys up there. I'm going to have to call in when we're done here, because you guys record early on Sundays now. So I got to make sure I get that call in tonight. But check them out if you haven't heard them before. They are such a fun podcast. I love listening to them. I got to get rid of this. Oh, this hurts. I actually have to do the final strikeout of my staple shout out to the Future Monkeys. As I mentioned last episode, the Future Monkeys are no longer podcasting. It's so sad. But you know what? They were awesome while they were around, and they really did a great show, and I just very much appreciated what they did. Let's see. Other than that, if you want to talk to us, you can join the Save Point, play some Defender of the Crown with us, and tell us what you think at tiny.cc/savepoint. You can email us, theretrorents@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at theretrorents, or me at retrorentsal, or Nick at Black Eagle Ops. Hit us up on Twitch at retrorentsal. I'm also, or not at, but I'm retrorentsal on Twitch. Kyle is Kibis, Nick is Black Eagle Ops, and Travis is Soda X Bread. So hit us up. We are all starting to do some things. I'm starting to stream a little bit more regularly very soon. I know I said that's last week, but I actually plan on doing it this week. And yeah, that will end episode 41. Obviously, thank you everybody for coming out, listening to us, and thank you everybody that participates in the Save Point and the Question of the Bi-Week. We sincerely appreciate it. And I guess until next time, play games, have fun, don't be dicks. Peace!